Thank you all for attending today, so lovely to see you all here. And thank you also to those people now joining us online from the comfort of their homes. Thank you. Your online host today is Pauline. So Pauline, thank you for looking after these people within our virtual congregation. Our medium today is not the medium I announced in the 1 o'clock trial broadcast. We do not have Jamie Oliver. Let that sink in, everybody. So those of you sat at home waiting for a really good cooking demonstration, I'm sorry, you're going to be so disappointed. It's Jamie Williamson. So Jamie's... Good afternoon, Jamie.
Good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon.
So, without further ado, let us commence our Wednesday service, and I'd ask and invite Jamie to deliver the opening blessing. Thank you, Jamie. Camera moving on.
Oh, yeah. That would be helpful, wouldn't it?
And turning on.
That would be more helpful.
Can you all hear me loud and clear? Yes. Yep, good. Hi. Would you close your eyes and join with me in prayer? Almighty God, Heavenly Father, Great Spirit, we give thanks for this day and for every day, for the blessings that you give us in our lives, for the good days and for the days when we learn. I give thanks to all those guides, healers, inspirers and teachers that walk with us through our lives and help us to learn those lessons which will benefit us in the long run. I would like to ask all those in the Spirit and all those present here today, whether physically or online, to send out their healing thoughts so that we might create this sacred space so that those who have passed can reaffirm their existence and their love throughout this time and for the time that comes. Amen.
Amen. Thank you very much, Jamie. And now, please, if you'd like to join in with saying the Lord's Prayer together. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thine will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from all evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power and the glory, forever and ever. Amen. Thank you. And Jamie, sir, we look forward now to hearing your reading and address. But before you commence, you may find it useful just to move your mic up a little bit, please.
Noisy.
Or drop it down there, that'd be fine.
Sorry, folks. You're all been deafened by now. Is that better?
Yeah, it's just one
notch up. Ooh. For those that know me, you'll know that I'm a great fan of Silver Birch. And for those probably that have not come across Silver Birch, because I don't know that everybody is aware of him, he has produced, or has been produced of his teachings, many, many books, and they contain profound truths which are really very good for guidance. This particular track, if you like, I've taken out of his book, which is called Guidance from Silver Birch. And it covers the whole purpose of mediumship, why we have mediumship, what mediumship is basically for, and the reason why spirit collaborate with us to produce what we call mediumship. There is a great work to be done in the world that is sick, physically, mentally, and spiritually. A part of our task, that is spirit, and your task is to drive out the sickness of the mind, the body, and the spirit, to bring understanding of life's purpose, to those who are wandering in the midst of confusion. That is the purpose of all mediumship, to give a message to one whose heart is heavy with sorrow, whose eyes are filled with tears of sadness. That is a good and helpful thing, an important thing. To give healing to one who is racked with pain, tortured by illness, or afflicted by disease. That is merciful and very necessary. These are the precursors. They are the means, not the end. The thing is to awaken and touch the dormant soul so that it comes into its own. If the soul is awakened and begins to understand its purpose and the purpose of its incarnation on earth, then you have fulfilled your part in the vast scheme of regenerating your world, which is the whole reason for our collaboration. That is the key that unlocks the door. It is more important that a soul shall come into its own than a body be healed, or that a mourner shall be comforted, because that is truly fulfilling the divine purpose. You have not succeeded until that is done. I think there are some interesting points that come out of that. We tend to think that spirit are probably only there to give us comfort and healing. But as Silver Birch has made quite clearly, quite plainly, is that it's really about the soul and our progress in this life and in the next. A lot of people overlook the fact that if we do not progress in this life, it makes our next life more difficult. The adjustments we have to make when we pass over can be quite difficult for many people. But if we start the work while we're here, where we should start the work, then that is all to the good and helps us in our journey throughout life and throughout the next life. There really comes three points I want to sort of hone in on that. And the one is that the world is sick. It is quite a profound statement, and I think gets down to the crux of the matter, is that spirits see the problems that we have. This reading is some 50 years old. It would have been given by Silver Birch probably in the 60s or the 70s, when their collaboration, when the person that was his control, if you like, when Maurice Barbanel, who was the person that would be in trance and give these messages from the higher side. So they are not new, and we think that things have got worse over the last 50 years rather than better. You only have to think about global warming. You only have to think about the problems that we have. We have, obviously, over the last few months, we've come across viruses that we haven't come across before. The world is constantly changing, and it's not always changing for the better. The work of spirit is to create a better world, and that is our purpose too, is to collaborate in creating a better world. So we only have to look around us to see that there are many problems. We only have to look at the press, media, it's all negative, and that is not the way forward. Politics is about negative, it's not about the positive. There are many people with problems of starvation, with war. These things never seem to go away and are basically based on people who want to have selfish lives, not spiritual lives. He reaffirms as well that healing and giving messages are right. They are important. They're a means to an end. They're not an end in themselves, because once we realize that life goes on continuously, then it creates a complete new set of things to think about. It should spark the soul into inquiry, into finding a new way of living in the world. So his greater mission is to awaken the soul. We as individuals, once we accept that this is our mission, if you like, to move forward into life and to take things forward, we then have to accept that most of those changes start with ourselves. Each one of us is responsible for our own actions. If you look at the 7 principles, or 8 principles in the case of Christian spiritualism, then there is in fact those things that we have to consider. We have to consider these guidance, these things, if you like, or these principles that we work to. Or one of those is personal responsibility. It is our personal responsibility to act within our own remit, if you like, our own sphere of influence. In other words, our families, the people we encounter, how we change the way that we work. We can only change ourselves. We can't change anyone else. That is the whole point. We can only look to ourselves. One of the aims is to create balance, if you like, between the mind, the body and the soul. Most illnesses we know are created by imbalance of either the mind or the soul, and these are things that we have to address. It's about nourishing the soul. The soul is nourished by knowledge, by inquiry, by finding out how things are in the world and recognizing that things could be better and how we can improve them personally. It's about seeking the quiet places. It's about shutting out the noise of what's going on around us, about the clamour of the world, moving away from that, finding a way to be within our own space, be within our own peace and quiet, and being able to reflect on our lives, on where we're going and what decisions we make. And it is a whole new way of thinking about the world. I think there are things that we have to remember. First of all, we're not perfect. We're here to learn. We're not meant to be perfect, and certainly most of us clearly are not. We all have our moments, and we all let ourselves down as we see it. But in God's eyes and in Spirit's eyes, we're all as we should be. This is where we are. We're in a classroom. To them, because if they are evolved, the ones that give us the information about philosophy are usually quite involved. In the case of Silver Birch, when they tried to find out who he was, where he came from, or what his life was when he was on Earth, he was quite vague, but he did say that he was at least 2,000 years in spirit. So these people are very evolved, and they use channels to give us that wisdom. So we have to be kind to ourselves. We're a work in progress, I think, is probably the best way to put it. We have to learn to live in the now, not in the past. We can't change the past. We can't alter the future easily, but we can certainly live in the here and now. Simple ways of being more spiritual is quite simple, really. To show compassion, to love when we can, to show light, to be non-judgmental. These are all spiritual attributes. These are the positive things that we can do, rather than dwelling on the negative things that go on around us. That's the clamour of the world, if you like. And we have to remember, we can't change the world overnight. It was Silver Birch himself who said that this will take millennia for us, for the people on Earth to reach perfection. We're a long way from it. And it's a case very often of 2 steps forward, 1 step back. But they were always positive. You read his messages, they're always positive. They are realistic. He recognizes the problems that we have, but they are positive. It's a long-term project. So to basically recap, the purpose of mediumship is to heal the sick, because all mediumship is healing in one form or another. A message given is healing given. To reduce suffering. The suffering of not knowing is relieved when you understand that life continues, that love continues, that we are not alone, that we will progress. Once you take that on board, then it helps to get a better view of the world. We're here to comfort the bereaved. We're here to touch the soul, most of all to touch the soul. There is an interesting point. Over the years, spiritualism has evolved. I use the word spiritualism, it's just a label for convenience. Silver Birch himself did not like labels. He would not use them. He said, we're all spiritual, we're all on a spiritual path. No matter what religion you are, we're on the same path. And there are many ways to God, is what he would say. But it's interesting that if to awaken the soul is one of the more important things, then the only way we can do that is through philosophy. Once you have accepted that we live forever, if you like, then where do we go from there? What can we do? And that is the purpose of philosophy, is to give guidance, to make people think about things, to learn to look at the world in a different way, and to look at ourselves in a different way. And so, for me, that's important, that over the last few months, particularly since the outbreak of this virus, then people's attitude to philosophy has changed. We've had to fall back on the old ways. In the earlier times of spiritualism, the main focus would be on philosophy, not on message giving. Places like the Albert Hall would be filled with thousands of people like Estelle Roberts, and all she was doing was giving philosophy. Whereas now, very often the focus is more on the message than it is on the philosophy. But that's a personal view. I'd like to leave it there, and thank you for your time in listening to me patiently. Thanks.
Wonderful. Thank you, Jamie. I can agree so much there with what you were saying. Absolutely wonderful. Thank you. We now come to that part of the service where we dedicate to those healing energies. This is a time when we can all link in with that healing energy that flows ever unceasingly from the heart of all creation. And in directing out your thoughts of healing for others, you too benefit and receive those healing energies. So just like to make yourselves comfortable, just turn off all the little worries, all the niggles, all the concerns. Now is your time. And just imagine, please, that you're sat on the banks of a beautiful pond. Absolute wonderful summer's day. Willow trees surround the edge of this pond, their leaves trailing in the water. And look out and look at the surface of that pond. Be aware of the small ripples that come as insects land, as leaves fall. And as you see these small ripples spread out, link your energy in with those. Let your energy flow out from you as the ripples do across the face of the water. And just bask and celebrate and enjoy this time of being sat there in perfect peace, perfect harmony, perfect union with nature and its abundance in so many, many forms. God bless you all. And now, as you return yourself to your full consciousness, understand that during this time, not only have you healed yourself, you have healed others also, all in the service to others and mankind. Mother Nature, the universe itself, appreciates this time linking in with you. Amen.
Amen.
And now, young sir,
I like the young sir.
we hand over to Jamie now for your demonstration of mediumship. Before you get quite in the flow, I just very, very quickly need to check one thing because I've got a nagging doubt.
Must be a technical thing.
Yes. See, I doubt myself, and I shouldn't. Pray continue, Jamie.
Okay. Right. First of all, I'd like to say it's a real pleasure to be here. This is the first service I've done really since January, and as probably some people realise, I've not been doing the platform work for very long, so please bear with me, as they say. As spirit, should I say, draw close, and I draw close to spirit, I'm very aware of a lady, quite a tall lady, larger than life character as well, and I'm sensing I'm with this gentleman here on the back row in the middle. She was a very loving lady, but she would put you in your place if she thought you were wrong about something. I'm sensing she passed with a heart condition, and it wasn't a long illness. She had heart problems over a period of years, but went down quite rapidly towards the end as a condition deteriorated. Does this resonate with you in any way? You can't place it. She's very much similar build to yourself, and is tall. Now, whether this is the name I'm getting is Irene. What relationship could I go with? Sister-in-law. I'm getting. I may be wrong about the height. Because more than. Does the name Irene mean anything to you? That was her name. That's it then. Again, she's a well-built lady. Let's put it like that. And she was very forceful character when she wanted to be. She would not suffer fools gladly, as they say. But she got a very loving heart. If she thought you needed help, you would get it. And she kept herself much to herself most of the time, although family was important to her. She would, I'm talking sisters here, she would have quite a good relationship with her sisters. She's saying to me. She's got a nice smile, and she there's something you've been doing recently that she finds quite funny. Time to work out what it actually is. So you're quite happy with we're here with the right person. Have you been puzzling over something recently? Because I'm seeing you puzzling over something you've had to do, something with your hands. There's something you've been doing with your hands as a project or a job or a repair or something along those lines. And there's been quite a bit of cursing going on because things aren't coming together. She thinks this is quite funny. She said, she's impressing me with the thought that she is aware of what goes on. she often pops in, and you get quite frustrated at times with things that don't work the way that you think they should work. You, you have these plans, and you start to put these plans into action, and then realise that it's just not going to work out. Yeah. And so there's this frustration that, you know, why didn't I see that? Why can't I do that? She's saying, step back. Because you rush at things, she says. And don't always think it through before you get started. Now, she's been quite hard with you. But she's saying it with a big smile across her face. She says, because she knows what it's like. It's a family trait, she says. And yeah, it's not uncommon, because she was similar. If she'd got a bee in a bonnet about something, she would pursue it, come hell or high water, until she got where she wanted to be with it. I'm getting an anniversary in November, January, November. There's 2 separate months, I know. Yeah. Are important ones, yeah? Yeah? And there's a party for one of them. There's a celebration coming up for one of them. All right. You're not aware of that? No. Because there's a significant date. Age or something is significant, or a wedding, or it marks a time, this celebration, and needs to be celebrated, she's saying. Right. There's something about paying back a debt. Right. And she's talking about an emotional debt. That there's someone that has been, and this is all tied up with this celebration, that it marks a time that you should mark, and you should celebrate, and you should honour the person that this debt, and she's not giving me who, so I can't be much plainer. So I don't know if that makes any sense to you at the moment. It does. Good. Because she's saying it's important to celebrate that, because it honours something. It's like a promise made, fulfilled. So we're talking wedding anniversary here. A significant one coming up for somebody. I'm asking if there's anything else you wanted to give you to say. She's showing me a bonfire or a fire in the garden. Have you been burning garden rubbish recently? No. No. It's a reference to November, roundabout bonfire night. They give me something significant round bonfire night. Yeah, that's what it is. You get the strangest things sometimes. So that she's just, so that you know what she's talking about. Yeah, that's. She comes with a lot of love and certainly a lot of laughter, and she watches you with great amusement at times, because she remembers you as a boy, and with much fondness, and says, "You're not alone. You've never been alone. Her and the others, who the others are, I'm not sure." Will always be with you to look after you. Thank you. Yeah, and I leave you with her love. Pleasure. I have to give this. I got this earlier. I'm hoping, I'm not sure where I am with this one. I've got a gentleman here, and it very much puts me in mind, almost a spitting image as I see him, of the presenter in the Sunday programme, not the farming programme. I've forgotten what it's called now. That's the trouble, you see. My brain doesn't work very well. I'll tell you what he looked like anyway. He's quite a slim build, muscular. He's got, he tells me auburn hair, because I wanted to do ginger hair, and he told me no, it's auburn, it's dark auburn hair, because he's quite proud of this. He got piercing blue eyes. You can't miss those. They're quite blue. And he was a very intelligent person, a very articulate person. He would say, so I don't know quite where I am. Anyone, just ring any bells with anyone? Where am I? Who am I with? Who am I with this? I've got a country connection, hence it's why in my mind it connects with this programme. No one take this gentleman? No? Okay. Ask him why he's come in. Give me. Somebody here with a farming background. Would have been brought up as a farm. There is that farming connection. This is the connection. It is the farming connection. Anybody with a farming connection? Have you got a farming connection? Yeah, because I'm being drawn your way. This may well be somebody going quite a bit. I mean, although he looks quite modern in the way he's dressed to me. He doesn't. He looks. It's in his 30s, 40s, certainly no more than 50s, when he passed. And he would have passed in what we would call the prime of life, really. He was a very active person and worked hard, but was quite, I say, quite intelligent, the way he comes across. So can you take this gentleman? Yes. Yeah. Yeah, it fits the bill. Quite, I mean, I don't normally see eye colour, but these are, yeah, a very bright blue, I'd call it, yeah. Which is such a contrast to this auburn hair that he's got. And the hair is short cropped, but quite thick. I mean, he had a good head of hair right to the end of his life. He comes round in a memory link, if you know what I mean by that. Yeah, he comes around as a memory link. He's not family. He's connected to the family and was quite close. But I'm not sensing he's actually family. Or if he was family, it's not a, intimate family. Can you take that? Yeah. He's making me aware of your health at the moment. Particularly, I mean, obviously I can see you have a walking aid, so but that is particularly what he's concerned with. It's a walking. He watches you when you are taking risks, he says. He's got this very caring attitude towards other people, which doesn't fit in. To look at him, you wouldn't think he's very businesslike and very matter of fact. And again, he would be quite well spoken and outspoken, but he has got a very caring nature. If anybody needed help, he would be there. He would do more than was necessary. And that applied to his work as well. He was quite a dedicated person. So with your walking, he wants you to take more care, he wants to remind you're not as young as you were. Yeah, now that's what he's concerned about then. Have you got carpets all over the place? Rugs?
There's one rug.
He's saying, get that out. That is because of tripping on rugs. It's the floor area, because what I'm seeing is a cluttered environment, and they're all hazards. He's pointing out. These are all hazards that are potential for you to fall over. He just really wants you to be more aware of your surroundings, to keep safe, in other words. And he's quite, he doesn't come forward as somebody dogmatic. He's quite, the way he's putting it is quite gently, because he doesn't want you to have problems, basically, by falling. Have you got a cat? I see a cat.
Yes.
Does the cat get under your feet?
Yes.
It looks like your house is full of hazards. He's really come today out of friendship and that, but mainly to get this message across and he's now sort of looking at you and saying, perhaps you need to accept that the room needs to be clearer. Your travel through the house needs to be clearer, and don't be afraid to ask for help, is what he's saying, because he's saying you can be quite proud, and yeah, and a bit stubborn at times, he says. But he's saying it with a smile. He says, we're all the same at the end of the day. But, we have to be aware of the risks we take. And that's really what he's trying to say, is to minimize those risks. You can't eliminate them, but you can reduce the risk. I'm just asking if there's anything else he wants to say. But I think that is his main purpose for being here today, is that guidance. Are you, because I'm getting the sense that there are things that move or lights that go off when they shouldn't go off and flicker and things. There are things happening in the house occasionally. You think, is that spirit?
I've closed my bedroom door, gone to a cup of tea. When I come back, the door's open.
Yeah, that's him making his presence known. And it's all part of this plan he has to make you aware. And there are others. There's a lady here as well in the background. She's not coming forward at the moment because he knew that if this lady came through, you wouldn't accept the message. Whereas if he comes through, you're more likely to accept the advice that he's giving, really. Yeah, I think he wants to... So he was round earlier, and what was striking about his hair colour and eye colour was quite striking. Yeah, I think he's finished. He's come to say what he wanted to say, and he's saying. So he's saying, take care. Yeah, and again, you're not on your own, and the very fact that doors open, it just signifies that people are around. So you can talk to them, he said. I don't know if you do. You do? Yeah, can talk to them. That's good, that's good. There's no reason why not. Don't get much of a reply sometimes, but yeah. Okay, thanks for letting me, talk to you. I have a young girl here, not much higher than that. Ooh, right, where am I? She passed a spirit as a child. I'm trying to get a sense of what period the dress is she's wearing. We're going back 40s, 50s. It's the feel I have, this young girl. She's a bright, got long hair in it. Almost like Shirley Temple, wrinkles, but not wrinkles, ringlets. Mouth doesn't work. Ringlets. So yeah, I'm asking who's she for? Who are you with? I'm drawn.
Passed in 1948.
Yeah, it's that period because I sense it. So do you know this young lady?
Yes.
Yeah. She stands here as proud as anything. She's as pleased as punch. She likes to come and watch what happens and does frequently. She accompanies you a lot.
She writes with me. Yeah.
Yeah. And she shows me a little doll, a rag doll, that she carries with her a lot. And that again is it's a memory link in that you've often seen this in the corner of your eye.
Yes.
Yep. She is full of love. Yeah, it flows out of her. She's got this beaming smile. She's gentle, she's kind, she's loving, and she is more advanced than she would appear spiritually. Hence the writing. She very much acts like a muse for you, if you know what I mean by a muse. Yeah, she stimulates thoughts with you. She's around when you're thinking, particularly when you're pondering over things. You get that flash of inspiration and she's there.
Yes.
She's saying, why haven't you published some of the things you've written?
I've done 2. I'm on my 3rd.
That might be it then. Yeah. Does Molly mean anything? I've got the name Molly.
Yes.
Yeah, good. Thanks, Molly. I like it when I get a name right. And she's now showing me the ribbons in her hair, and these ringlet ribbons. And for some reason, she showed me a green one. And I'm getting this light green. So this is significant for some reason.
I chose green today.
Well, yeah, I now can see that, yeah. But there is more to it than that. It's a harmonising colour for you. Because she's into colours, yes?
Yes.
Yep, because she's giving me this green, and it's a calming green. It's that, very similar to that. It's that, but slightly, well, it's a spirit colour, so it's never the same. So it's a rich but light green, if you can follow that. And that's for calming, harmonising, and healing and settling your vibrations, because recently there's been turmoil around you.
Right.
Not anything major. Just some things just haven't been sort of feeling, feeling quite right. There's been this imbalance around you, and she wants to try and balance that with you. So she wants you to meditate on green.
Right.
And she will be there. Other colours she's showing me is violet. And she's giving me these in ribbons. I mean, I know people used to read ribbons many years ago. You don't see it very often now. But she's giving me these ribbons, and they're about the colour vibrations and how they will settle you and allow you to sort of keep an even keel when things are moving around you, because that's the feeling I'm getting,
Right.
that things are shifting. But she wants you to keep that even keel. Anything else? Is it poems you're writing?
I used to always write in rhyme, but now the philosophy is a lot stronger.
Yeah, because she's giving me
She writes in
poems.
rhyme, yeah.
She writes in rhyme.
Yeah, and it's the loopy writing that children do, you know.
Yeah, because I'm getting poems. I'm seeing the word poems. And I think she wants you to go back to doing poems. She wants to do some poems.
Okay.
Did you publish poems? Is that what?
No, it's more philosophy, but
Yeah.
I'll work on that one.
Yeah. Because she's saying these small poems are uplifting. And there may only be a few verses, but in this modern day, when people glance at things and want an instant answer, then a short poem can speak volumes.
Yes.
Because it creates a picture. Ooh, she's getting really, it creates a picture in people's minds, and it resonates. Whereas a long piece of philosophy, as we know, sometimes difficult to follow. So that's what she's come to give you for
She
today.
does the church readings sometime and they are a poem.
Oh, really? Oh, lovely. Yeah, lovely. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. I don't know if she's anything else. So it's the green and the violet, because they harmonise. Yeah, they are in harmony with each other, and which be quite useful. I can hear myself rattling. Okay. Drink of water. I have a gentleman. I can't see him at the moment, but I'm sensing he's quite slim and tall. So, right, come closer. He's wearing I think it's what you call a peaked cap, in the sense of a military cap. This is like a captain's uniform. I'm seeing him in like a captain's uniform. He would have worn a uniform in life. He was, I say, an officer, so we've even got a rank. Tall, very erect. He was a very reliable, sturdy, honest, and he had a career, a military career. So, have we got anybody here? Who are we with? Where am I? Military. Does this ring any bells with you? Oh, I can't see behind.
Should be able to.
Oh, yes. Oh, I mean, he stands here, but that's not unusual. So let's give you some more and see if we can work out who. He's showing me the little stick they have under their arm. Yeah, he's got one of those, what we call it now, like a baton. He would have been a stickler. Shoes got to be clean. Yeah. Haircut's got to be right with his army. Got to be. This is army. We're talking army. Yeah, both the same. Okay. The uniform. I mean, earlier I saw him, so that was probably a dress uniform he was wearing. He's now showing me himself in a more day-to-day uniform. Not necessarily the dress one, because there's two levels. This is a khaki one. And he's got two stripes here. Have I got two people here? I may well have two people here now, just to make my life interesting. So asking them who's with who. I want one person forward. One would have been in a band. There's some connection with the band, with the army band. That ring, any?
I'm not awfully sure. He was an uncle, but he was not always with us.
No. So, I'm seeing drums and a band. So what we've got is the dress uniform is a gentleman with you, who is taller and thinner, and another chap who's shorter and stockier, I think is with you in the khaki. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
I know it's not what you thought of.
Engage me in conversation.
No, sorry. Right, somebody got to come forward first. Moving with you, there's a dog here. He's showing himself with a dog. I don't know if this works with you. I'm not quite sure why he's showing me with a dog at the moment, because there is a dog with him. Now, this may well have been a military mascot, which is more than likely. So, it's what they call a colour sergeant. Is that the word I want?
He was so he was hovering around the edge of my life. So
Yeah, so you don't know him yet. So, okay.
I think, Jamie, I'm not making things fit. I think you've got it the wrong way round.
It fits. The colour sergeant fits with you.
You can have the lower rank.
I'll go with that then. If I've got a clear take on that one, can I come back to you? If that's
Call Brian out of the office.
he was quite influential in your life. Yeah. Because he's got very much my boy. He's saying my boy, in the sense of an uncle-like relationship. In other words, I don't know how to describe it. In other words, he wasn't directly close.
He was directly close.
Oh gosh, got all wrong today.
But I never really connected to
That's
the
it
level
then.
that he should have been. So yeah.
That's it. There's this separation. Yeah, this separation. A separation in a sense, not a physical separation, in character. Yeah. You and him were chalk and cheese in many respects. Yeah, and because he was all about appearance and about what was right and what was wrong, and he was quite strict in the way that he looked at things. Yeah.
That's a pretty bad picture of me, but yeah.
No. By contrast, I will reclaim this as quickly as possible. By contrast, you are much more flexible in your approach. In other words, he was black and white. You can see the grey areas.
Yeah.
And he's saying, although he never admitted it, he quite admired that, because to him things were black and white, which caused him problems. Because he wasn't able to compromise. He wasn't able to see the middle ground, which you can see the middle ground. So his personality fitted him for the army, for the career that he had, but outside of that, it didn't. He struggled, exactly. He says, but I'm learning. He says, but I did teach you some things. He's talking about shoes. He said, I did teach you some things. There are definitely some things that stuck. And he's proud of that. Plus, he is proud that you stuck to your principles and carried on. That is, he said, my principles only worked within a military framework. Outside of that, they didn't, because the world was different. And we were of two different worlds. And your world, the way you approached it, suited your personality, and that is all right. He said, but his was more difficult. He really wants to come just to say that he keeps an eye on your progress. He influences some things, but he's happy to stand back, and he knows when to stand back and to let you get on with it. Because there are times when you can feel this conflict. So he's learnt to stand back when that's it. He comes with admiration rather than love, and respect rather than love. But really they are all part of the same thing. It's just a different way of expressing it, and you are aware of that. You've got some shoveling to do. Gardening.
I have a list.
Yeah.
Not that I'm aware of.
No, because I'm seeing in the garden.
Yeah, no, he was a great lover of the garden.
That's probably what it is then. It's the garden. He's showing me the garden, and to really, his idea of gardening was to dig everything up.
Oh yeah. Double dig.
Yeah, dig it up. He was like making trenches. Yeah. I'm just looking at the time. I will leave that with you if I can.
Thank you.
I'm not sure about your gentleman. He's still here. This gentleman, yours is much further back in time. Your gentleman is much nearer to our time. He would have been again, this is the rank. I'm getting the name Joe. Does Joe mean anything to you? Joe, Joseph, Josephine? Oh, sorry about that.
And he was Joe.
Yeah, okay. I'm also getting animals involved with you. There's something about a little dog or a cat. I'm not sure which it is. Which is a dog or a cat? It's a dog. It's,
Well, at the moment, it's a cat.
yeah. Well, for some reason that's why it's easy to get them, because that is also involved with you. There are animals. Yeah. And this gentleman liked animals. He had an affinity for animals, and you have an affinity for animals, and you can communicate with animals. They give you inspiration in a sense, and he wants to. He draws close, and I'm not sure why he draws close at the moment, because you've got that. The two of you have got that in common. And he draws close. Although he wasn't close to you in life, I'm trying to find out how he passed, because I'm just suddenly aware I'm not giving you much evidence as to who we're talking about here. So he's close to you, wasn't close to you in life, but he is close to you now. He died relatively young, unless he's, yeah, by that I mean below 60. Is that right? Round about that time, yeah. And it was unexpected. It wasn't something that was, expected, went on for a long time. It wasn't a long illness. It was quite a sudden thing. And I'm sensing heart.
I know he had the big C, but I don't.
Ah, right, got that wrong. Okay, bear with me. Perhaps I'm running out of energy. Okay, draw close, please. He's showing me a red sash for some reason. Now he's wearing it on a uniform. I don't know if that means anything to you, but again, I do see colours, so I'm getting this red sash. He really just wants to draw close to you. I don't think I'm going to get much more out of him at the moment. Draw close to you because of this affinity, and he wants to work with you because you work with animals, yeah? Yeah, that's what it is. That's where it is. Now I know where we are. Yeah, he wants to work with you with the animals because he likes that, and he can feel he can have some input in that. Can I leave that with you? Thanks. I'm aware of the time. Thank you very much. Sorry for going on a bit
All right,
longer.
Jamie, thank you very much. Very quickly, some notices. Online Thank you very much, Jamie. Very quickly, our online activities this week. Friday night at 7:30, we link up once more with our Spiritist friends for their presentation. Saturday morning at 9 o'clock, we have an online meditation. Saturday night at 7 o'clock, we join up with Anne Traherne from the Arthur Conan Doyle Centre in Edinburgh to enlighten us as to the works and directions that centre goes along. Those of you who may not be aware, Arthur Conan Doyle was not only the inventor of Sherlock Holmes, he was an extremely ardent and well-advanced spiritualist of his time, investigated spiritualism very succinctly and methodically, and some wonderful books by him on spiritualism. On Monday night at 7 o'clock, we have an online meditation. Then switching back here to live in the church and also being broadcast live online. Sunday at 3 o'clock, we welcome Ashley Oliver. That's where the Oliver came in, Jamie.
Ah, that was it. Yeah.
So we have Ashley Oliver, who will be taking our service live here in the church and live online at 3 o'clock. And then next Wednesday we have Heather Conclaves, again live here within the church and also being broadcast live online. Little note going forward, Saturday the 26th of, what month are we in? Remind me, September, thank you. We have an evening of mediumship on Zoom with Tim Abbott. That will commence at 7 o'clock. This is a paid for event, though there is a ticket price of £8. We're trialling these. We have a little session of Zoom nights of mediumship, just other avenues of funding the church, because obviously we can't get the big crowds in as we used to, and we've just got to explore all possibilities. So that's Saturday the 26th, 7 o'clock. Tickets are available online and they're at a cost of £8 plus a booking fee. That concludes the notices. All that remains for me to do now is to stop wittering and ask Jamie for the closing blessing. Thank you, Jamie.
Thank you. Would you like to join me in prayer? Close your eyes. Heavenly Father, Spirit Divine, Lord of light and love, we thank you for this period we have had together with our loved ones in spirit, as they continue to share our world and to share our love and to give us love. Thank you for all the people that are responsible for this service today, for making things happen. Thank you for the workers who heal and the workers who provide services for those in need. Can I ask that healing be sent with every household represented here, and that they are kept safe for the days ahead and live in the love of their spirit family forever. Amen.
Amen. Jamie, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Absolutely lovely service. So pleased to see you continuing on with your development. Reading and address, brilliant. Mediumship, extremely good. Yeah, do you know, you've got it
Shan't
there.
be able to get out here now.
Nah. No, it's lovely. And thank you also, because Jamie was one of those ones that stepped up and did the online version of our services when we were unable to meet. So thank you for doing that, and thank
Pleasure.
you for attending today. And I know we will see more of you in the future,
That's
young
very
man.
kind
Young
of you.
sir.
Thank you very much. And thank you everybody for coming, and everybody obviously who's watching online. Thank you very much. Without you, it wouldn't happen.
So before we leave, I'd just like to remind you, if anybody would like to buy a rug or a cap, please see the lady at the front here. And you, sir, no more skateboarding. All right. Thank you all for coming. Obviously, as you make your way out, please just be mindful of other people's distances. Look after yourselves, stay safe, stay sane. Thank you.
Sorry. Did you want me to stay and get some dates, or do I do another day?
No, I can do that now. Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye-bye now.